So we're out here on a sunny day in England with Justin in his incredible 306 sedan, turbo diesel. Don't see these very often, OEM Plus style. Just going to take some more shots and then we'll sit down with Justin and have a chat about the story. So welcome everyone to another episode of our SuperFly Autos car stories, and today we're back in sunny England. It's a beautiful day. As you can see behind us here, there's this beautiful 306 sedan. We don't get to see these very often, and Justin here, the owner, has been kind enough to come and visit us today to show us this beautiful ride. But before we speak about the car itself, I just want to find out from you, Justin, how did you get into cars and what was your first car as well?
How long have you got?
Oh, well, yeah. Just give it a go.
So when I was younger, the typical story, BMXer, dirt jumper, was into my push bikes. I started hanging around with a group of lads who are much older than me, who were part of the local drift scene. They used to practice at Kings Lynn, Norfolk Arena, and they would invite me along on a regular basis to go out with them, and sort of it started from there, really.
No way, so all into BMXing, leading you to seeing these guys in the arena. And so when you started to drive, was the 306 the first car you had or something different?
It was indeed a 306. It's all I could afford at the time, so the dream was always to have like one of these S-bodies or something like that. But at that age, with how expensive insurance and stuff was, it was just I couldn't ever get the money together to buy something like that. So I ended up settling for a 306. The 306 I went for was the oddball choice. It was an estate. Okay. That mainly came around because all my friends at the time, who were similar age to me, they all had hatchbacks and stuff, and a couple of them had the 306 hatchbacks. I was like, that's awesome, I want one of them. Tried to insure one of them, absolutely not. Okay. So I ended up with a 2-litre HDI estate as my first car. So the estate was far more, cheaper to insure at the time, because I was thinking to myself, you've gone for an estate because you're into BMXing, you can put your BMXs in the back in a way. To be fair, that actually became a huge benefit from that. So yeah, gotcha. I ended up being one of the people who would chuck all the bikes in the back. Let's go out for a ride, lads.
That's it. No way. And why, obviously Peugeot, because I know going back to the times when I was in the car industry, back in the days, your Vauxhall Novas, your Citroen Saxos, your Renault 5s, and there was Peugeots like your 106s, your 205s if you go back in the 80s and 90s, and to see something like this today, it's super rare. So for you back then, of all the choices of cars, why this one you were drawn to, really? I know price is one thing, but...
It was a big part of price. One of the lads I used to ride with, his dad actually worked at the local Peugeot dealership. And his dad was a paint sprayer, would actually spray his bikes and stuff, and so we would spend a good portion of the time backwards and forwards to the Peugeot garage to go see his dad. One of our other friends who was part of the drift scene also worked at the Peugeot garage, and I don't know if it just sort of subconsciously ingrained, but yeah, lo and behold, Peugeot happened.
That makes absolutely, because I was trying to piece it together. How did you go? Because most people, you know,
it genuinely wasn't the first choice, but it happened, and it felt natural for me, and ever since it's literally been an addiction. I've tried stepping away from Peugeot a couple of times, recently had a Land Rover, always end up back in one. I can't move away from them, love them. Really?
What is it that really draws you in then? What is it about those vehicles you like the most?
So I don't like the newer Peugeots.
Okay.
But the older Peugeots, I feel like they draw you in. They're a car which was designed to be maintained, designed to be worked on for people who were willing to get their hands dirty. And so for me, sort of when I was younger, I didn't have the money to be putting the car in the garage all the time.
Sure.
So it was one of them. It was a car literally designed for someone like me to learn on. And the engineering, the mechanic side of it, it's so simplistic in these older Peugeots, it's hard to get it wrong.
Sure. Okay.
So, and because of that, it also gives a great platform to learn on, to upgrade and everything like that. And yeah, I've just stuck with them over the years.
That makes sense. I mean, what I like about this sedan is the shape. I think they've got a beautiful shape that still looks amazing. The way you've put it together today with the Dimma wheels, just the stance you have with lowering just a little bit, perfect. You don't need to go too far, and it's just really good. And you've kept it that OEM Plus that you were mentioning to me earlier on, which is really nice. So You currently still have the estate, I believe, and you've got this as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the estate at the moment is off the road. I've got some big plans for that.
Okay.
Basically, this will end up being driven by my partner.
Oh, cool.
And the estate, it's got to end up being like his and hers. The estate has got a front end swap on it, which is the same front end as this. They never came out of the factory with a phase one front end. But sort of this is my learning platform with the engine and everything to see how much I can push out of it. Roughly getting about 200 brake at the moment.
Nice.
And then, because I've been teaching myself welding and stuff with my job, my engineering skills, I've made a 4-to-1 sidewinder manifold, got a massive turbo to plug onto it, and I really want to push the boat out and try and aim for 300. But aesthetically, I want to keep it looking the same, so same front end, same colour.
Yep.
I've also got another set of Dimma wheels as well.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's trying to be the his and hers type thing.
That's nice, and obviously you've done all this work yourself. Due to your career as an engineer, you've got a lot of skills. I think you mentioned you can weld and do all sorts of things. Is that right?
Yeah, weld, machine, hydraulics, pneumatics, I can play with it all.
That's cool. And you do this in your garage, or do you take it somewhere specific to do all this kind of work to it?
So I do have a unit on an industrial estate out towards my village, or say my home village. It's not my hometown, Dimma.
Okay.
So there's a unit complex just on the outskirts, luckily about a 10-minute drive. So I can literally hop in the car, spend a little bit of time down there tinkering, fiddling, and then go back to home life.
That's cool, because I was looking on your Instagram and I saw that you got so much support from people, because what I'm seeing right now is those kind of cars, at least in the last 10 years, they're becoming more of a sought after vehicle to have. Instead of the usual new cars, it's kind of, they become icons, retro cars you could call them, and they're so rare. And like I said, the last one I saw like this, and I was speaking to you earlier on, was the Max Power era, a company called Peugeot Ecos. They'd made one that was a 4-door, they made it into a 2-door. It was like revolutionary back in the day, so that was the last time I remember seeing one. And then I saw yours on Instagram. I was like, oh my gosh, it's clean. I say it's got the OM look, but you've done a few things. I saw you had some, I think, possibly some compromotive wheels, I think, back on one of the pictures I think you did. Was it white?
To be fair, I've had so many wheels, it's untrue.
I've seen you have loads of wheels, you've had so many, but that was ones that drew me. I was like, it actually looked really nice. And I saw the Dimma, I was like, oh, you got Dimma wheels as well.
So I sort of roll around on the Dimmas as show wheels. So I built them up and I'm so scared to use them at the moment, it's untrue. It's my first set of 3-piece split rims I've ever had. Trying to keep them polished is an absolute nightmare. So the Compomotive TH, again, that was another dream wheel of mine.
Nice.
And so they're my daily wheels. And the Dimmas are more of a showcase piece.
That's cool, because I looked at it with the Dimmas and I was like, they look really cool. Then I saw the Compo, I was like, I wonder maybe if you could do one side with one. But I thought, when you said the Dimma, I was like, no.
I mean, I've got one in the boot as a spare if you want the
let's
TH.
go do that now. Yeah, I mean, both wheels, I'll say, on the car looks amazing. You probably see it on the video. I'll probably show a picture as well. But these just look brilliant, and I believe they were for a 205, I think.
Yeah,
right?
So they're originally designed for 205 Dimma.
Okay.
So how I was told it was, Dimma is originally Belgium based. The European market was offered the PLS Indy, whereas the UK market was offered the Compomotive. So that's a Compomotive DP600.
Right.
So again, I've got an addiction on Compomotive wheels, as you can now guess. But yeah, so that is the UK based wheel.
It's really, really nice, and it does suit the car really well. And when you got the car, was the condition, obviously I assume it was the original in white, and was the condition this well, or did you more to the bodywork to clean it up? Not so great then. Okay.
Oh, I've got to be careful how I word this. I bought it off a young gentleman.
Okay.
Who was part of the modifying scene, who owned a customs car company and sold it in a very questionable state.
Okay.
And it was his personal car he was using on the road. To cut it short, I've had to rebuild it front to back.
Okay.
Suspension, brakes were the first things because it would not stop.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then I started working through things like the engine and everything. When I bought it, I was aware that it had had some damage in the rear quarter, so it's actually the rear quarter we can see on there now. It's one of my friends, Harry Dawes, who's painted the car, and luckily, we knew a panel beater as well. Craig
nice.
Starlin, local friend as well. He came out, managed to get all the filler out of the rear quarter, what was hidden in there, and starting to sag. I did have a genuine rear quarter sat there, and I was prepared to weld it in, but trying to put it off because it's such a big job.
Okay.
And luckily Craig managed to panel beat and save that rear quarter, so that is the original rear quarter.
Amazing.
He straightened it out. Yeah, we've managed to save the car somehow.
So the exterior needed obviously overhauling. The colour, I assume, is still the original white it came with.
Yeah, so that is the original factory white. I was always a sucker for a white car.
Okay. And it does look really nice and white, and I like how you've kept the bumper strips and the door strips as well in black, which gives nice contrast with the tyres. Works really well, the door handles. Was there anything else you had to change, like headlights or anything like that, or literally the stock ones it came with, or anything like that?
So it's got really subtle touches across it. I like the whole idea of OEM Plus. So like the side skirts would have never come on the sedan. They're actually off a 5-door estate and off the higher spec model.
Okay.
The front bumper is what they call the sports bumper.
Okay.
So you would find it typically on the higher end models, the Turbo and the GTI 6s. And then like the headlights, what we sort of call black mask.
Yeah,
so
they look a bit more smoked.
Yeah, basically the inside plastic from factory was black masked.
Yep.
Typically come on the GTI models and stuff like that. I have got some other headlights I want to put in which are slightly rarer, which are what we call twin optic. So rather than a single bulb, you got two. But
nice.
Kind of been putting it off because I do still like those black mask headlights in it.
Okay. No, I think it does look nice with all the extra dark black pieces you've got there. And then interior-wise, before we talk about the engine, the interiors, from what I gather, it's all stock.
Yeah. So
the original seats, they weren't from another Peugeot.
No, they are the original ones.
Okay.
So as I joked with you earlier, I always call it poverty spec. So when I was younger, you always had the top of the range model, leathers and stuff like that, and if you couldn't afford the top of the range, you had cloth interior, and we called it poverty spec.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it's very typically 90s in there.
Yeah.
So I've only done a couple of touches. I've got a rare Ghetto Works steering wheel in there. Because of my biking background and stuff, the gear shifter is actually a BMX grip.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, such a neat touch. I love that bit. And the window winders I saw.
Yeah, they're actually skateboard wheels.
Wicked, yes.
And I've just kept other OEM touches. So I've got a rare blue XSI carpet in there, and then like the factory Peugeot rubber mats, which it sounds stupid, but getting really hard to find now.
I can imagine, yeah.
So yeah, it was just the OEM Plus look.
And I like that because I also looked around inside, because I sat in the seat and it is so comfortable to sit in a car with like that 90 spec seating. Like you said, it feels like a couch. I was like sitting down really late, but I was like, I bet the long drive is so comfy. And then I was looking at the dashboard and I noticed a Sony head unit. Obviously most things are screens now for all the cars. Sony head unit, and you got some speakers on the partial shelf. Do you know what brand they are? Because I couldn't tell from what I saw.
They're nothing special. They're just Vibe Slick component upgrades. So I want to do the audio at some point, but at the same time, it's a bit of a driver's car, and I love the sound it makes.
Yeah, it does sound good.
Yeah, so she's straight piped, straight off the engine, stainless steel all the way down, not a single silencer, so hopefully there's no police watching this.
Yep.
But I love the exhaust note it gives off, especially with that turbo whistle as well.
So when you got it, in terms of the engine, since you're going in that direction, was the engine in a good way, and how many miles did it have when you got it?
So she is a 200,000 mile car.
Ouch, really?
Ouch.
Whoa, okay.
I'm one of those people, I don't believe in low mileage cars. Mileage has never bothered me. If you intend on working on it, maintaining it, upgrade and stuff, you will eventually replace everything anyway. As long as the shell's in good nick, what does mileage matter? But engine wise, Christ, where do I start? So, again, when I got it, she wasn't running too great. I build the Bosch VE fuel pumps, so that's one of the first things I did. Is I upgraded the fuel pump, I turned the turbo up, and it did about 6 months to a year before I got cylinder head lift. And it spat the head gasket.
Whoops.
Whoops. Big whoops. So I actually had a load of parts which I'd been intending for the estate, and because I needed the car back on the road in a hurry, it happened by accident that I forged the spare engine I had, So I forged it, rebuilt the top end and everything on it, ARP head studs, uprated to a multi-layer steel head gasket instead of composite.
Okay.
Mercedes turbo on there,
Wow.
GT 2052S, did all the stainless steel work and chucked that in. It went really well.
Okay.
So I ran it in at about 18 psi. I estimate it was making about 140 brake. So when you consider they started off with 90, it was very nice to drive.
Absolutely.
Greed got the better of me recently.
Okay.
So while the shell was away being resprayed, I'd been intending on turning the turbo up a little bit more. It's hybridised, so it's capable of 26 psi.
Okay.
So put stiffer actuator springs in. Got a little bit too greedy. I rebuilt the fuel pump again, even larger with Land Rover internals this time.
Okay, yeah.
And she's been causing me a little bit of grief since. So the fuel pump is actually slightly too large for the engine now.
Right, okay.
So at some point I've actually got to detune it and go backwards.
Right. But it drives well, it's got a good amount of torque and everything, it's smooth on the road when you're driving.
Oh yeah, she's lovely to drive.
Yeah.
Fully upgraded suspension, BC coilovers, Baker BM spherical top mounts, full GTI brake system. It's literally built to be a driver's car.
That's gorgeous.
So, I mean, my ethos with it was practical performance.
Yeah, I like that.
So a lot of people sort of turn their nose up when you say it's diesel because they hear performance and they think petrol. But again, economy, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
The torque it gives bottom end.
Yeah.
It's quite a fun car to drive.
It ticks all the boxes, like say, for long drives, fuel economy, insurance obviously probably really decent as well, and things like that.
£360 this year with all mods declared.
That's the territory I was in when I was younger, like that kind of price. I don't know what it's like now, but that's amazing.
Yeah, I was well happy when I just renewed the insurance. So
and all mods declared as well. That's actually really nice to know. So this is what I like about now, because all these new cars coming out and they've got too many gadgets. People are sick and tired of being sort of tracked with everything going on. In the older cars, you can get it for a few thousand or up to maybe 8 to 10 grand. And if you get an insurance policy like that with mods declared in addition, that's going to look at people like us and go, why would I go for a new car?
Yeah,
I want to go for this kind of car now. Because a lot of people are frowning at the new cars now, going, A, they look ugly. This looks iconic. It's raw. The style of it is beautiful. The lines of the bodywork looks fantastic, and the right choice of modifications of the wheels. What do you want? And it's clean and in white as well, because usually Peugeots in the past, I remember like the matte reds. You know, they just have a 309. It was all red, and it's nice. And I do appreciate having colour in cars, but I think that in white or black. But I think white. Yeah.
Don't say black, because
you're thinking
so
about
many
it now.
times I contemplated it. There's also another.
Because I could even think like having the strips all in black but making it white, so it's all white. But I think the contrast works, so maybe you've got a balance.
There's also another rare colour. So the Irish lads call it Kingfisher Green. It's a nickname of the colour. The actual colour is tropical green.
Okay.
But it's a colour which, again, in these cars, in the Phase 1 model, is really iconic, and I toyed with respraying it in that so many times.
That'd be interesting to see that colour. I don't know. I mean, I see it white now. I'm like, it's a daring colour, but...
Yeah, I mean, I just love how it sits in white anyway, so this will probably be it till its end of days.
And then you'll keep it, obviously, you're doing the estate, you and your missus can have then a vehicle each, and you'll be going at shows together, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
And is the other one white as well then?
Yeah, the other one's
Perfect.
white. So literally, the only difference between the two is going to be the tail end of them. So...
Well, this is cool, and I really appreciate you coming down and sharing the story, letting us see this in the metal, because it's rare to see this kind of car. So hope you guys enjoy this car. Maybe gives you some food for thought of finding cars like this to purchase for a few thousand, get a nice clean insurance or mods declared like Justin has, and have a better run around than all these new cars. So until next time, thanks for tuning in, and thanks again, Justin.
Thank you.
See you guys soon.
Nice meeting you.
Same here. So photo shoot done, vlog done as well, so look out for this very, very soon. Justin's incredible 306 sedan with 205 dim wheels. See you soon, Justin. Take care. See you soon. So look out for the video on this coming up in the next 2 weeks and in the magazine as well. Sounds awesome, looks good. Awesome day.